Deborah Green, also called Deborah, Debs, and many other names, was born to Joan and Robert Jones on February 28, 1951, in Havana, Illinois. She had an older sister named Pamela.
Deborah was very brilliant, much like her older sister. However, things came easier to her academically because she didn't even need to study to get good grades. For example, when she was 2 years old, she first learned how to read, not by her parents, but on her own. Her relationship with her parents was relatively normal, besides the immense pressure her mom put on her to succeed.
Her junior year of high school, her family moved to Peoria, Illinois, and she made a very smooth transition, even graduated salutatorian. She attended the University of Illinois for chemical engineering, but changed her major to pre-med because of a very persuasive professor.
Deborah went to the University of Kansas for med school in order to be closer to her family, and that's where she met her first significant other named Dwayne Green. Dwayne was a chemical engineer. The couple fell in love and got married while they were still in school, but Deborah grew bored with him quickly, and the couple divorced. Deborah was an easily bored woman, so naturally, she excelled in the ER.
After the divorce, she lived her life to the max until she met Mike Farrar, and the couple fell in love and got married soon after. Soon into the marriage, Mike realized that he truly had married a mad woman.
I remember this one time where a couple stole a parking spot we were going for, and Deb just flipped out. She chased the couple all the way to the door until finally they pulled out of the parking lot and went away.
Disregarding Deborah's quick temper, the couple went on to have 3 children named Tim, Kate, and Kelly.
In the evening one day, as Mike was at work, a fire started in the house. Thankfully, Deborah, the kids, and the dog were all at an outing. The neighbor called to tell Mike about the fire, and then he told Deborah, asking where they were and if they were all right. After the fire, Mike decided to move back home, and for 6 months, everything within their marriage seemed better. Following these 6 months, Tim, Mike, and Deborah scheduled and went to Peru as a way to build a peaceful family experience.
In Peru, they met a woman named Celeste, who Deborah would say seemed too comfortable with her husband. No surprise that soon after, Mike and Celeste started having an affair. Deborah suspected it, continuing to go mental and complain to everyone how much of a cheater her husband was. Mike asked for a divorce a second time, and Deborah acted as she would. Mike found an apartment to stay nearby, and they had lived separately from now on.
When Mike came over to the house one day, Deborah gave him a meal that after he ate made him feel very violently ill. Mike made a discovery after being discharged from the hospital: castor oil seeds. He saw that within the seeds was a type of unfortunate poison and decided to question Deborah about it. Deborah simply stated that she had them since she was going to attempt to take her own life.
Mike immediately admitted her to a mental hospital in the hope for her to become better. This hospital was also the hospital that she had worked in. However, at this hospital, she was diagnosed with bipolar and depression.
After this admission, Michael started to suspect and question if the meal that she gave was an attempt to kill him. Even though this came over Mike's mind, he had never once thought that Deborah could have been a danger to the kids, because in his eyes, she had been an exceptional mother.
On October 23rd, in 1995, Mike took Tim to hockey whilst Deborah was at her psych appointment and Kate at her ballet practice. That night, Mike dropped them home and stayed for a little bit. After staying for a few minutes, he went to Celeste's house, and from there he was on his way to his apartment. On his way, he received 5 pages from Deborah from 9 to around 11 p.m. at night. He called her after the first page to know why she had paged him, but she had denied ever doing it. At about the 3rd page, Mike got irritated because she sounded drunk, as he said. At about 12 a.m., a neighbor calls Mike saying his house is on fire and the kids are inside. Mike rushes over and sees Deborah in a trance-like state staring at the once beautiful house. He comes to the conclusion that the kids are definitely not making it out.
Soon after, Deborah was taken into questioning, and apparently she had called Tim within an intercom, telling him that help was on the way and that he should stay put. This was essentially most likely the last words said to her son. On January 31st, 1996, Deborah Green was convicted of 2 counts of capital murder and 2 counts of aggravated arson. To this day, many people don't know her true motives, but it's suspected that she did it out of fear of losing her children, or wanted to get back at Mike for the supposed pain that he had caused her.
Deborah is still alive and is living in the Topeka Correctional Facility.
Deborah is a good example of the strained deviance theory because of her struggle with drugs and alcohol. Mike found drugs that she was prescribing in the name of her patients and taking herself. This behavior is an example of retreatism because she was giving up her goal of being a good doctor and resorting to drug use.
She has always felt pressure from society, so when she realized that being smart was not going to guarantee her everything in this life, she resorted to deviance. She fits the standard of the control theory because of her strong attachment to controlling how people view her marriage. However, when Mike starts having an affair with Celeste, she realized that her perfectly crafted image is slipping away.